to MakersTube, and in this Fusion tutorial I'm going to be designing the VR headset you can see before your eyes on the screen right now. As you can see, it's a really sleek design, and I've printed it in white and black. You can print it in just one color if you wish, or whatever color. And it only works with the iPhone 8, but since Fusion is a parametric modeling software, you can go back and use the same techniques to make it work for an iPhone X or 11, any iPhone that's bigger or smaller than the iPhone 8 itself. Okay, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, and without any further ado, let's get into it. So first of all, we're going to import a canvas of the front view of an iPhone 8 provided by Apple. I'm just going to put it on this top plane. We're going to calibrate it afterwards, so I'm just going to make it about 5 times the original size. Okay, and then we're going to sketch on the top plane, and according to Apple, the size of the iPhone 11 is 138.4 millimeters tall by 67.3 millimeters wide. So what we're going to do is, if you look in the toolbar up here, you'll see center rectangle. So we can choose that and make our rectangle. And I usually like to dimension it right from this UI. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the dimensions. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line. Yes, just the hotkey for line is L on the keyboard if you're using a Mac, and I think even Windows, so there is no need to say that. I'm going to make a line running from one end of the iPhone to the top of the iPhone. Make sure it's completely straight. Alright, now finish sketch. Now we're going to go into canvases, drop down menu, and I'm going to double click on this, which is the iPhone 8 canvas. We're going to hit calibrate, okay? Now we're going to zoom in onto this point and make an approximate dot of where that end of the line is, right there, okay? Now we're going to go to the next side. Sorry about that. And make another dot approximately where that other dot is. Right about there. Perfect. So we can calibrate this to be exactly 138.4 millimeters. So now, as you can see, this is fitting inside the box very well. We're gonna go back into that sketch and make another line, hit L for the hotkey, and make a line running down the width of the iPhone, end to end. Okay, I should have done this earlier, but we're doing it now. I'm gonna hit calibrate, do the exact same thing. As you can see, that point was a bit off, but that won't make much of a difference since on my printer is a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, and that's a very small change. Okay, now according to Apple, the iPhone 8 is 67.3 millimeters wide, so we're gonna hit that in. Okay, now what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to the feature tree over here and drag the sketch before the canvas. This way, when we edit this feature, we can still see the sketch. I'm gonna move the iPhone into that box, and as you can see, it basically fits perfectly in. Maybe a bit off. Alright, okay. And then we're gonna put the sketch back in front of the canvas, and I'm gonna edit the sketch. I'm gonna give it fillets, and before that I'm gonna delete these construction lines because sometimes they can mess up the fillet we're about to do. Go to fillet, choose this corner, and 9 millimeters looks good. Okay, Sorry about that, that was a bit of a lag. Fusion does it sometimes when I'm running it for quite a few hours. Oh my god, okay. There we go. I'm gonna choose this one. We're gonna choose all four corners. And since we put in 9mm, it's automatically gonna go to 9 for each corner. Hit enter. So now what we have here is basically the overall contour of an iPhone with the correct edge features and everything. Okay, we're gonna delete these two and we're gonna extrude that sketch up 7.3mm, which is how tall the iPhone is, or how thick the iPhone is. Now we're gonna hit F for fillet, or you can choose it up here in the toolbar menu, and we're gonna choose this top edge and this bottom edge. And the great thing about Fusion is when you're trying to determine a dimension or any type of amount, you can put in a calculation and Fusion's gonna calculate it for you. So in this case, we want a completely rounded edge for the iPhone. So we're gonna put in 7.3, which is a bit too much because that's the thickness of the phone itself. We're gonna hit the slash bar, we're gonna hit 2. That way you can see that it did a perfect 45-degree fillet on the top and bottom, and now we have a completely rounded iPhone, or the overall shape at least. Okay. It seems as if the video cut for some reason, so you guys missed a few of the steps that I did in the time that the video stopped recording, and it was just basic casing for the phone. But no worries, I'm just gonna go back a few features and show you exactly how I did that. So up till the fillet, after the fillet, I gave it an appearance of white ABS. Alright, and now let me show you how I made the sketch, okay? Okay, so first what I did was I projected the outline of the iPhone so I could get the basic contour of the whole shape. Then I offsetted that outline, so this one that's running right at the edge of the iPhone, I offsetted that 0.5mm, which gives it a tolerance of 1mm, which is quite a bit, but it's just enough for the phone to have a snug fit and not be so tight that you can't take it out. So that was a 0.5mm offset. And then I added a 7.4mm offset as the thickness of that outer casing. Okay? Then I extruded that upwards 8mm. And you can make this extrusion as tall as you can. 8mm just looks good because it's just a bit more than the 7.3mm that the iPhone is actually, the actual thickness, sorry. Alright, so after this, what we're going to do is we're going to make a lip at the bottom of this so that the phone doesn't fall right through. But before that, we're going to model the screen of the iPhone just as a preference. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up the dimensions of the iPhone screen here on my phone. Screen dimensions for the iPhone 8 screen is 4.7 inches as the diagonal length, okay? So we're going to just make a random rectangle, and we're going to hit D, and we're going to choose this point and take it up to the side over here. So make sure it's not coming straight up, make sure it's at an angle. We're going to put in 119.38 millimeters. which is 4.7 inches. Okay, now we're going to hit M, and I'm going to choose the point-to-point command. And just these selections. Our origin point is the center of the rectangle, and our target point is the center origin. Perfect. So now we have a rectangle which basically shows the screen of the iPhone. I'm going to extrude that -0.1 just so we have some sort of reference of where the screen actually is. Okay? Now let's continue to make that lip that we need to hold the iPhone in place. Now since I'm remodeling this entire VR headset, I've already made one, and I'm completely redesigning it. I'm using my previous model for dimension purposes. Okay? So I'm just going to take the dimensions of that inner lip quickly, which are it's 5.6 millimeters thick, and it comes out. Sorry about this, guys. I got my design process a bit over there, but before making that inner lip, we have to make the entire casing, and so we have to extrude this face downwards and make the entire casing. So this whole box was 41.6 millimeters, but 41.6 millimeters as a total, not including the 8 millimeters we already made. So what we do is 41.6 minus 8, and that gives us the exact copy of the VR headset I have right now. Okay, so now if you hit inspect and see the distance between these two, it should be 41.6. If you didn't understand that, I'm sorry. It was a bit confusing to understand. Maybe go back a couple times to understand it. Alright. Now we're going to make that lip. Alright, and for that, what we're going to do is I'm going to make a plane on the iPhone here. For P, I'm going to project this. I'm going to hit offset. I'm going to offset this 4.8 millimeters inwards. Okay? Alright, extrude. And before we perform the extrude, I'm going to hide the iPhone body. iPhone body. And I'm going to choose that lip and extrude it 5.7 millimeters downwards. Okay, so now the iPhone has something to sit on top of so it won't just fall down completely. Now we have to make the divider that lets you percept which screen is which, because if you've ever seen what a VR video looks like, it's two views basically for each eye. So we're going to hit a sketch on the screen. L. I'm going to make a dividing line right down. Alright? Then I'm going to hit center rectangle and make a box which is 5 millimeters wide. Then I'm going to extrude and choose not from there. It should be from here technically. It shouldn't be joining. So hide the iPhone. Hit OK. Actually, that was a mistake. I'm sorry. Hit extrude. I'm going to go to, there is an easier way to do this, but this is just how I like to do it. Go -0.1, and then to here, okay? Hide the phone. Perfect. Now, the easy thing to do over here is to choose that face, extrude it in. It's going to join, and now this becomes one whole body. we have that divides the screen into two parts, so you can perceive which view is which. Alright, now what we're going to make is the middle plate, the black plate that you saw, which holds the lenses, okay? So even that is extremely easy. All we have to do is sketch on this plane, okay? And I'm just going to take a few quick measurements right now to understand where I centered these. Now, depending upon your measurements, your circles will be in different areas, depending on where your eyes are, or how wide apart your eyes are. Okay, 31.8. Perfect, so my circle, I'm going to do a center diameter circle, make it 25, because that's how big my lens is going to be, and choose point, okay? I'm going to put a point right there, hit D for dimensions, and distance is going to be 31.8 millimeters, okay? Then I'm going to hit L for line, and mirror this circle across this line. Sorry if that was a bit too fast for you guys. You can go back and check it. Okay, so we have cut out for the nose, which lets your nose sit into the VR headset and lets the VR headset rest on your nose. You can add some padding so your nose doesn't get hurt, but mine works just fine. So okay, for that, what we're gonna do is first I'm gonna make a line that goes right down the middle, okay, and then I'm going to dimension this 16 millimeters going outwards and 16 mm from here, and then draw a line which is 32. Now you can really just eye this, but I like it about there. Then I choose tangential arc, choose the center, again choose the center point, but you can use that point, make it right there. Then I'm going to mirror these two lines across the center line. So now we have that cut out. You can always make this wider if you have a wider nose. For that, all you need to do is, let's say you need it to be 40, we make this 20. Everything fixes except you need to make these two tangent. So you can just choose that and make it tangent. Perfect, okay? I'm going to stick with 16 for now because my nose is not that big. Alright, so first what we're going to do is extrude all of these shapes. And let me just quickly get that dimension for you guys. I'm pretty sure it's 5 millimeters, but just to make sure, yep, exactly 5 millimeters. And I'm going to go new body. You can have this join, but the way I print mine reduces on support material needed. Okay, we're going to go into sketches, and we're going to show that last sketch. We're going to choose a revolve, okay? And for that revolve, I'm going to choose all of those parts. And as the axes, I'm going to select this line. And what that'll do is make this large cutout that you can put your nose into. Okay? I'm back again. And what I did, I didn't show this on camera, but I basically fixed the dimensions. I made the cutout on this side longer than on this side, so it doesn't cut into here, and so it's more comfortable on my nose. Alright, so now what we need to make is those two parts that go around your head, basically fix on the contour of your face. Now I can't copy anyone else's face contour, but an easy way to do this would be to sketch on this plane and project this whole cutout, okay? This whole outline, sorry, not cutout. Now we're going to extrude that, and we're going to do a... Sorry guys, the recording cut out again, and I just noticed. So as you can see, I did quite a bit to the model till the time it stopped recording. But as an overview, all I was doing is, so for the nose cutout, I made two different sketches, one on this plane and one on this plane. The one on this one was a bit smaller, so it wouldn't interfere with this bridge, and just so it would be more comfortable on the nose. Okay, right there. Then I made this sketch just to clean up the model a bit. Sorry that was unnecessary. I made this sketch, which was on this face. I projected the outline of our inner casing and extruded that 50 millimeters. That's 5 centimeters tall. And then I made a tangent arc, a tangent to 5 millimeters from the edge of this, so 5 millimeters from here, to match the theme of this whole project. So a lot of the edge features are 5 millimeters, or close to 5 millimeters. So I made it the same, and I basically extruded this large arc right down that box. Okay. Then I did a revolve and made that cutout for the nose. I cleaned that up a bit. Okay, so that my nose would fit in nicely and it wouldn't hurt. What I am going to do is I'm going to hit mirror, and I'm going to mirror this feature, this last feature, from this mirror plane. So now that's a nice perpendicular cutout, and this is looking good now. Okay, again. And in the meantime, what I did is I added just some fillets to make this model look nice wherever I thought I need them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add appearances just to see what the overall model is going to look like. And to add an appearance on a MacBook, you hit Shift A or Command A, any works. I just hit A, and I'm just going to give some quick appearances to this. Perfect. Okay, so now we need to make a part that's going to hold the phone while it's inside, so the phone doesn't just fall out. And for that, I'm going to do a section analysis. We're going to go into inspect. We're going to go to section analysis and choose this plane, the right plane. Now I'm going to sketch on that plane. And hit P to project this whole outline. Okay, I'm going to offset this outline. Well, I did make all of these other random lines because we're not projecting this cut, or we're not projecting the analysis, we're projecting this whole shape. So to get rid of all those inner lines, we can trim them, which is a great way to, or no, well, you can't trim them because they're not physical lines. You have to individually delete each one. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you're hitting if you're hearing a lot of breathing noises on the mic, it's because this isn't the highest quality mic. I'm sorry about that. I'm not that professional of a YouTuber, so I haven't gone the other way to get a really big mic, you know. Okay, so we're gonna make this offset 0.3, actually 1.15. Okay, and we're gonna offset this other one 0.15. So when we make the shape, it's gonna have an overall tolerance of 0.3 millimeters. We're gonna do another offset and make it 5.15. So that way this wall is exactly 5 millimeters thick. Perfect. Now we just connect this and connect that. Make sure you don't choose the project vertice. Make sure you choose the sketch one. And Fusion's lagging again. I hate when this happens. I'm gonna hit Control Z and I'm just gonna come out of here and make that line again. So right there I chose the wrong point. Make sure you choose the right point or your model is gonna get messed up. All the tolerances are gonna get messed up. Okay, edit sketch. And we're gonna make one final line from here. Okay, extrude. We're gonna show bodies again, and we're gonna do a symmetric extrude of 10. Okay, so that makes it, I'm gonna close the analysis here, that makes it 20 millimeters wide. And that's basically it. If you want this to be a bit shorter so it doesn't interfere with your nose, you can just extrude that one face in. Other than that, this is a done model. You can add more fillets to these parts if you'd wish. Something like that. But other than that, this model is done. Guys, please let me know if you like this type of content. Please tell me if it was or wasn't too boring. If it was too boring, I will go back to making time lapses of my projects or just text tutorials. So the ones that I don't talk for too long, if that's boring for you guys. But please give me feedback in the comments and share this video with your friends. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you guys. Bye.